All right, I think our recording has started. Can you give me a raise of hands if you can if you can hear my voice clearly, my audio? And thank you, Audrey. So I believe we could already start this webinar. But first, we would like to thank everyone. Teka lang, let me just show myself up. Jerome, can you open your camera as well for our introduction? And so for this morning, we will be having this close to an hour of webinar. And while we're at that, our slide, please. Yeah, so the title of our webinar is Efficient and Detailed Multi-Material Modeling in Tekla Structures. And this is actually the first webinar that we're doing for 2022. This is the first of a series of webinars. So we decided that we could show off the multi-material modeling in Tekla Structures, how Tekla Structures actually handles multi-material. So next slide, please. So we thank you guys for being with us this morning. At a very short notice, we just announced this webinar last week, and we're very happy that a lot of you is able to join us, and we hope that you could join us as well in the succeeding webinars. So let me introduce myself and my partner here. My name is Chris, and I'm the Business Development Officer for the Trimble Building Solutions segment. So we carry Tekla portfolio, and with me is Engineer Jerome Tungol.
Mhm.
He's our pre-sales consultant, and we've been working together over the last 7 and close to 10 years now. So we'll be the one presenting this webinar to you. And a simple house rule before we proceed to the actual presentation, we request everyone to please turn your microphones on mute while the webinar is ongoing. And also, if in case you'll be having questions during the course of the webinar, you could type it on your chat box to the right, and we'll be addressing all your questions, and perhaps we could also have some live discussions after the presentation. So, okay, let me just, okay, Jim, let's turn off our camera so that
Yes, sir.
we'll have a better, smooth flowing presentation of our slides and videos. Yeah. So, we've noticed that some of you guys are regular attendees in our webinar, so you might have seen some of the slides that we'll be showing for our introduction. So normally we present the company. We are from Vibrant Technology Solutions. For those of you who was first timers in our webinar, so our company has been in the business for over 24 years now, and we have two offices, one in Manila and Bulacan. So we have over 80 employees, which is divided into the sales group and the technical group. So we're part of the sales team of VTS, and our team is basically in charge of the distribution of licenses across the country, while the other group, our technical services group, is in charge of detailing projects from Australia and the US. So we are actually making use of the software that we sell to our customers. So these are the highlights of our customer lineup. We're very happy that they allowed us to uh, share their logos for this presentation. So you could see some of the notable engineering companies who's been using Tekla for the longest time now. Some of your company's logo might be here as well. There you go. Yeah. So for this presentation, we wanted to showcase the extent of Tekla in terms of material handling. So we'll be talking about how we're going to produce detailed constructible models using steel, concrete, masonry, timber, CFS, and auxiliary structures like scaffoldings and that. And we want to show how efficiently we can add detail to the model so that we could create a twin of what is going to be built on site. So we will also be showing you some of the connections that, as part of the detail, it's important that we show you how the structures are going to be connected to each other. So we'll be showing models of anchors, embeds, and anything that ties the system together for various materials. And Jerome will be talking about how, for each of those materials that we're going to produce in Tekla structures, we can produce as well design drawings that remains to be updated depending on the changes that are happening in the model, and we'll give you a glimpse of how we connect to analysis and design and produce material take-ups, bar schedules, and other reports. So this is an overview of what will be the flow of our presentation. And as I've mentioned, this is the first of the many. So the succeeding webinars that we're going to give you is focused on each of the material independently. So for this, we'll be talking about constructible models for each of the material, and we talk about conceptual and how we differentiate that from a conceptual against a constructible model. So we at Tekla produces the constructible model. So which means that models and members and connections are represented very well as a 1:1 to what you're going to build on site. So there's the main structural system plus how it's going to be connected, whether we introduce the reinforcements, the embeds, the plates, and the bolts. It has to be modeled such that you are actually building the structure in a in an environment or a virtual environment that uh, really copies what is going to be constructed on site. So Jerome will be focusing on how we handle material. So he's going to show you how to create models and reports for the steel, for concrete cast in place and precast, for masonry, metal and timber framings, and how to produce reports very quickly inside Tekla structures. Jerome.
Thank you, Sir Chris. So as per our webinar, I will show you how Tekla Structures produces constructible models for steel, concrete, masonry, and metal and timber framing. Then after that, I show you the modeling of these materials. On my last part, I will show you how these materials produces 2D drawings and reports for fabrication use are in our site. So let's start with steel parts. So in steel part, all all available A shapes are already embedded on our Tekla structures. Also, if your project has have a customer size, so we have a parametric shapes, or you can input your a customized shape in Tekla structures in the property. And then we also have joist and cold form framing tools available in Tekla structures. And then in detailing part, we also have hundreds of components available in our component catalog. And then after we model our steel project, we can now easily communicate with our contractor, fabricator, and our detailer in the site. So let's start in my presentation in steel. So this is the user interface of Tekla Structures. So if you are not yet familiar in Tekla Structures is very user-friendly to use. So this is the model interface. Once you open the Tekla Structure, you see the grid line, and then on the upper part, you see all the steel parts and then the concrete parts. And then in our right side, you can see our property frame. And then you can also model in two views for 3D and plan view. And then for my starter, I will show you how to model a column. So just simply click the steel column, and then in using it, please click the column and then click the position of the column. For example, here in grid A and grid 1. Okay, so just click this, then the column will already shown, and then if you double click it, these properties will be shown on the right side. So all properties of the steel column will be shown, for example, name, profile, material, and its height and its total height. So you can supply or necessary data based on your project. And then if you have a lot of profile, you can save this. And then the materials, you will see this all types of material, just like steel, concrete, and then the timber, all types of timber, and then other miscellaneous like aluminum, plastic, rib plastic, neoprene. And then if the materials you are been looking for is not still yet on the tech structures, you can also import that here in material catalog. And then the properties of steel is see on the property profile. So all the shapes of ASCs, for example, I-beam, L-type, C-channels, then U-bar, and then also our hollow shapes. All shapes are embedded together with the available standard sizes. And then, for example, if you see the overview, okay. So to simply just select a property and then select. Then now we go to the column part for concrete. Let me show you how to model up here. Or if you have a lot of typical parts, you can save the properties in one go and use it later on. So for my example, just load the properties and then select the position of the pier. And then also you can also modify it in the property pane. And then next for strip putting, yan, just click the pad putting and then select again the location of that part. So I have complete my column structure together with its foundation. Now let's copy it on different locations so that we can create a simple structures. So copying in Tekla Structure is very easy. Just click the parts you want to copy and click the right position word it. Then we complete our column frame. Next is our beam. So in beam, the best thing to model the beam part is on plan view. So I can produce two views for 3D and then the plan view. Then once you have on plan view and on the right elevation, just simply click the beam and first point, second peak. So as you can see on the 3D model, the beam is on the right elevation. Then again, once you have load or your properties on the beams, just select it and then copy it in the right position. Just like that. Copy. And then once the frame is complete, you can also copy it to the other grid lines. So we have our first flooring. And now I will also show you how fast to copy the elevation. Just click on the frame and then copy to the top position. So just like that, we complete our simple frame structure. And then let's put some concrete beam. So just choose material and then type or strength of the concrete on the materials, and then on how you model the beam, just like that. You can also copy it to the right position. Okay. And then I just finished one of sample project for steel and concrete. Now let's input some detailing or connections in the steel. So all connections are seen in our application and component catalog here on your right side. You just simply click the symbol of square, triangle, or circle on your right side. And then all types of connections for beam to beam connections, for example, column, bracings, are available in Tekla Structures. So to use this connection, just simply click the connection that fits your detailing. For example, this clip angle, just simply click and then the catalog box will be shown based on the pictures. That's all the necessary data you need to supply. So to use it, just simply click the main part and then the secondary part, and then the connection will be shown. And then the best part here is component is very easy to use, as you can see on the pictures. So just input all the necessary distances to apply it on the connections. Also for parts, and then the bolts, just input the what size of the bolts, type of the bolts, and then number of bolts. Okay. And then once you finish your uh, design, you can also save it on the save as to use it later on. Okay, now let's input another connection for base plate. Just simply click the center line of the column now, and then the US base plate will be shown together with its embedded bolt. And then Tekla Structures also has what's called auto connections. So auto connections, we usually use this if your project has a typical connection. So what basically does this connection is he inputs all the components in one go. So you can save a lot of time, especially if your connections are typical. So you just simply input what connection you want to use on that particular connection. For example, beam to column, column beam to beam. Then select it on component, and then the auto connection will fit all that connections in the steel parts, just like this. Then also again, once this finished input or your connection, you can also check if take the structure input is right. Then you can also manipulate also. And then also auto connection, you can also use it to fit your concrete part. For example, this excess concrete part, it overlap the footing. So if you have a lot of this item, you can use the auto connection to trim all those excess parts. So just like this has highlights all those parts, and then I have here a connection called fittings. So what is that is trim the beam on the face of the footing. So as you can see, the beam is already fitted on the faces of the footing. Okay. And then Tekla Structures also has a joist beam. So if you are modeling a joist beam, so you also have a property of proper ready here in proper catalog. You just simply click the standard standard size of the joist prepared in your design. So to use that, just select a profile. I have already hit a save here. So just modify and click modify, then the beam will be updated for joist beam. And then also joist girder also has a connection here in component catalog. For example, just look for joist connection. You have a two-sided joist to column, joist bearing plate, then joist panel opening. For example, joist to beam. Okay. Just simply click the beam and then the joist, so its cut part will be shown. So again, components is very user friendly. You just simply input all the distances for the cuts, and it's all type of bolts and sizes of bolts. And then simply click modify to apply the connections. Also, you can apply it on the other side, or if you want to apply all the cuts in joist, we have a joist panel opening. So just simply input the spacing of the cuts. So it will equally divided in the beam. Also for beam to column connections, we have a joist to column type. So just click the beam and then the joist. So you have your plate and the bolts in joist. Okay. And then that's for our joist. And then the next thing is for our concrete part. So also uh, you can also see different kind of reinforcement here in component catalog in all types of concrete parts such as beam, footing, column, walls, also for reinforcement and opening. So let's try to input a starter bar here in a column post. So let's find it for starter bar. So also to use that reinforcement, you just simply click the reinforcement and then select the part. For example, this starter bars for pillars, just simply click that and then click the post. And then again, as per the picture, just simply input all the necessary dimensions, its profile, the size of the rebar, and then the number of rebars, and then the stirrups, spacing of stirrups. And then again, once you finish all inputting all the data, you can save save it and use it earlier if you have a typical reinforcement in all types of column posts. And then also for strip putting, okay, just simply click that and click the strip putting, so reinforcement will be shown. Then again, if you double click at the reinforcement, the catalog will be shown again. So again, you just input the right sizes, the right grade of the rebar, and then the number of stirrups. And then for our FAD putting, we also have reinforcement for that. So just click the FAD putting and all the horizontal and vertical bars will be shown. Longitudinal and secondary bars will be shown already. And then once we finish modeling and inputting all connections in steel parts and reinforcement in our concrete part, now we can easily communicate with the detailers and fabricator on the site so that they can see uh, what is the best presentation for this type of project. For example, this connections for base plate and the reinforcement so that they can see what clashes. has been made. So you can easily tell them what it look like. So that's for our steel. Then let's go to concrete part. So technical structures also cater all types of concrete parts such foundations, superstructures, wall, lit-up panels, etc. Also, we have a bridge creator for modeling bridges using roads alignment, but I will not discuss that. I will discuss that on future webinars. Also, as shown earlier, technical structure also have components and river set for efficient and accurate modeling for river in detail. And then technical structure also automatically produce bar schedule and Venn diagrams for reinforcement reports. So for this example, let me use the what we call wall layout. Here we can model a long span of wall. You just simply input the thickness of the wall and then the height. And then to model it, just simply click the first position and the location of the walls. And then to finish the part, just simply click the middle button and then the model will be shown. And then once we finish our wall, we can model it properly by using or inputting a reference model so that you can input your all your openings in right position. So let me use this tilt up elevation so that I can view the reference for the wall. So once you have your wall, you can now modify the wall in the right position or the right sizes by using the direct modification. Just simply on this and then click again the wall. So once you click the wall, and you can see a additional points for that wall. So you can drag that to put that on the reference area. So as you can see, it's easily modified. You just simply drop and drag to the right position, just like this in the model. Okay. And then you can also input our openings. So here in mini toolbars, you just simply use a add rectangular opening and then pick a reference and then click your size of the opening just like this. Okay, and then the opening will be applied in the walls. So as you can see, I can easily input the openings by the use of our reference. And then once you finish, you can also modify it. So as you can see the handles, you can also drop and drag that to modify the opening. So don't worry by the sizes because as you can see, you see a live dimensioning on the direct modification. And then you can also add additional point to change the shape of the wall, just like this. Okay, just drop the points in the right position or in the right location. And then as you can see, the shape of the walls has been modified already. And then as you can see, the reference is three wall part. I have here a wall layout scene wherein you can input the right spaces between the walls. And then just simply input the right gap and then again in mini toolbar apply the seams. So it will automatically cut the walls in three parts. Also apply the gap you have been inputted in wall layout seams. And then once we finish our modeling in walls, we can now input our reinforcement. For example, wall panel reinforcement. So here it will input all the edges in wall part, also in the openings. So again, based on the pictures, you just input all the necessary data and then the type of the bar and then the grades of the bar. And then for the main bars of the walls, we have a wall panel wherein again just input all the data based on the design, and then just click the wall and then the reinforcement will be placed in right position. And just like that, you complete a wall model with complete reinforcement. So that's for our concrete part. And then next for my material is a masonry. So I will show you how Tekla Structure model the CMU in Tekla Structures. By the way, masonry, you can see it in our uh, component catalogs. So we can download it in our warehouse, Tekla warehouse. And then in masonry, we can also create walls with band beams. We can also input already the rebars, the lintel beams, and then the openings. And then after that, we can also produce drawings and material takeoffs for the blocks and rebar. So to model the masonry, again, you go to component catalog, and then here the CMU, I just downloaded earlier, just simply like that. Just pick the span of the wall, and then the CMU will be shown. And then this is the catalog of the CMU. So the shape, so all shape of the CMU are here in shape catalog. So just look for the right shape of the CMU. So as you can see, it only have two holes because I am on the US environment. So they use two holes. And then for the rows, this is the horizontal division of our CMU for the reinforcement. So you can input by 10, by 5, and then also the vertical bars. You can also manipulate that, input the right size and then the pieces. And then for CMU wall opening, it also see it in the component catalog. So from the catalog, input the right size of the opening and then click the position where you input the doors opening. And then just adjust load this window, again apply. So again, it's better to model if you have a reference model, just like the wall earlier. Not that stick one, I just click anywhere. And then also, if you lay out a corner to corner masonry, just like this. So if you model just like this and just only move it, so as you can see, there is a clashes on the CMU walls, those faded area. So meaning they are not cut. So we have a connections, so-called CMU corner connection, so that you can model in the right. And so as you can see, it trims all the CMU wall that will intersect. And then I will show you that CMU is can be clicked by one. So meaning CMU is also modeled by one because this is an item, and then if you do that, we can also get a exact quantity of our CMU. I will show it later on. Okay. Then just like that, that's how we model masonry in Tekla Structure. And then next for timber, we show you how Tekla Structure create timber walls, floor, and then also roof framing, and then its connections. And then for I also have a metal framing. So let's go to the modeling. So framing in Tekla Structure also you can see it in component catalog. So first, let me show you how metal framing model in Tekla Structures. Just simply click the metal framing and then again click the direction of your metal framing. So once the component is done, all the parts of metal framing is been loaded. So all you have to do is input all the profile and then the right spacing for that metal stud. So as you can see, all the shapes, all the profile are here in profile catalog. And then you just input the spacing for bracing and then its number of bracing. Then just simply click modify once you finish inputting all the necessary data. Then also the connection. And then also we also have this customized framing connection for metal stud. Just simply click and then it's also supported by our direct modification. You can easily drop and drag to modify the metal slug height, its spaces, and then once you check the catalog, it also updated. And then let's input some openings using the panel opening. Again, you just simply input the size of the opening and then the property or profile that you want to use. Then again, using mini toolbar, click the reference and then the location of the openings. So once you click the right position, the openings will be shown already. So for doors, then for walls, and then also using direct modification, you can manipulate the size again of the openings. So as simple as that, you can have your metal framing. Then we will quantify it later on. And then let's proceed for the timber. So timber, how we model the metal frame, it's also the same. It's just different materials. It's just timber. Okay, simply click the wood stud frame. We have also wood stud frame for door and also for window opening. So the same concept, just input all the distances for your openings, and then simply click the length of the framing. So you can modify from here, input the right sizes, and then for its profile. So all types of foods are here. Also, it's based on the environment you have been chosen in Tekla Structures. Then for Windows opening, okay. Uh, so if you don't input anything on the dialog box, it will input a default. So just like the one I have been inputted. And then for the main part of timber, we can model it using our steel parts or concrete part. Example, this one. Let's choose steel. And then let's load my data. As you can see, my materials only change for timber. And then for beam, and then let's split it on the middle so that I can make a triangle frame for the main part. So once we split it, just move the points linear and put the elevation. As you can see, we have a wood frame. And then all connection detail for timbers, uh, we can download it in Tekla Warehouse. So just like this here, the main part for connection for column and beam. So as you can see, a studs and the plate in the middle, also the cuts. And then also for the rafter connection, just simply click two beams, so it will apply. And then also all the cuts connection for timber. It is also available in Tekla Structure by downloading it in our Tekla warehouse. So as you can see, those cuts so that the timber will fit in the connections. So that's all for my modeling of steel, concrete, masonry, metal frame, and timber. Now let's extract information for this model. Let's do drawings and reports. So once you finish the model, you can produce now drawings that intelligently read information from your model. And then also the drawing you have been produced is linked to your model, helping to manage model changes and ensure accuracy of your project. It also you can add tables and schedule to help summarize all your quantities, weights, or any information from the model. So in Tekla Structure, in managing our quantities, we have the so-called organizer here in Manage. So organizer manage all the reports in Tekla Structures. Here, organizer. So you can see the object browser, you can see name, object type, part post, all the property of the parts are there. So as you can see, once you select a parts, all the necessary data will be supplied on that particular column. For example, the name, the object type, the part position, especially the profile and then materials. And then in the below, the total quantities. So organizer is very easy to use also. So once you gather all the information, you can group it based on the company standard. For example, you want to group it by materials, by profile. So all the quantities will be grouped by materials and profile for easily presented or presentation. And then once you've done groupings, we can also export it in Tekla Structure for fabrication use or insight use. So as you can see, it will export it in Excel, and then you can also apply your company template. So once you've done export the profile, you can do now your thing in Excel. And then also we have a different template. For example, for reinforcement, you just select design reinforcing, and then all necessary data for bar bending schedule or for your reinforcement will be shown. And then you can also group it also, for example, by grade or by size. And then again for CMU, we also have a masonry template so that you can quantify how many CMU you need to use on that particular surface area. So as you can see, it have your total area, total block height, total length, and then the total quantity of the CMU you will be using on that particular area. And then next, once we finish gathered all the quantify or reports in our model, we can now do 2D drawings. So also 2D drawings is very easy to done here in Tekla Structures. So let me show you, for example, a general arrangement drawing for all types of the model I have done earlier. So let's start with this beam frame. So first, let's make a right view in all the model I have done earlier for this. For example, the steel frame. Yeah, so you just right click and then click create drawings, and then the drawing dialog box will be shown. And then all the properties, you can also click that and then input all your standard. And then once you input all your necessary data, you can save also the data. And for example, for foundation standard data for drawings, then just simply click create. Then for masonry, just change it for CMU or masonry elevation, apply, and then again create general. So once you click create, it will be created on document manager. So we have framing plan, foundation plan, and masonry elevation. So what you see on the model view, it also appear in Tekla drawings. So uh, what will be the presentation of the. So let's open one of the drawings. So as you can see, I have here a 2D drawing based on the model. We have our beams together with its markings. Markings is its profile. Okay. And then if you don't like that presentation, you can also change the representation. So you can uh, represent the yeah, exact picture or representation of the beam. Or just want to simple solid lines to represent your beams. Also, if you double click the markings, property mark will be shown, and then you can insert all your standard markings in your company. For example, names. So what have you input in the property name also will be shown on the drawings. So you don't need to manually input the names. And then once you right click the 2D drawing, inquiries of the beams will be shown, just like total volume, area, weight. And then in creating a section part, if you want to view sections in your drawings, just simply click section view and then apply necessary properties, and then just simply click a location of your section view and then area. And then as just like that, you have the section drawing. So in Tekla structure, you do not need to drawing again those beams manually. It will Tekla structure will generate the 2D drawings in one click. And then the changes, just double click. For example, let's change this on letter V for section name, and then also the view will be updated. And then if you want also to blow out some information in your drawing, we have a detail view. And let me put details. And then just click or the area you want to blow out. And then as you can see, Tekla Structure will generate those blowout drawings. So again, it will save you a lot of time in doing 2D drawings in Tekla Structures. Because all you need to do is input all the necessary data, all standard used in your company for your drawings. And then I will show you if you modify the model, for example, you change the properties, the drawing will also be updated because our 2D drawings is interlinked in our model. So to benefit in that, you do not need again to remodel your drawing. So it will save a lot of time in your detailing project or in your detailing side. So you don't need to remodel again those 2D drawing. And then next for our reinforcement, we can also produce a rebar schedule for this particular concrete part. For example, our footing, then strip footing. And then don't worry to those marks that are been scattered on the views. You can also move that in the right position. And then we can also input templates to show the bar bending schedule of the reinforcement. So as you can see here, you have your complete bar bending schedule, all the sizes, and then all the bends of the particular reinforcement has a dimension. So here, Tekla structure will be automatically generate all the length and then automatically calculate the total weight of your reinforcement. And then next is for our CMU. So this is how CMU presented in Tekla drawings. So again, those marks, you can double click that and input your standard markings for that particular marks. And then, so that's all for my part. This is how Tekla structure works in multi-material modeling. As we said, Tekla structure can produce constructible modeling in multi-material project. Oh, sorry, Chris.
Okay, thank you very much, Jerome. And we hope you guys have realized how powerful the software can be in terms of handling multi-material modeling and detailing at the same time. So if you have projects that demand multi-materials and you need to produce very detailed information out of your model, so this is one software that you can actually use for that particular purpose. So if you have questions, in the presentation that you just have seen, you could now turn on your microphones, or you can put in your questions on the chat box to your right, and we will be ready to answer your questions. So for some of the questions that already has been addressed, yes, you can do a trial of our software, and if you'll be needing, by the way, certificates for attendance, you could send us an email request, and please fill out the feedback form. Can you show the uh,
Yes,
link?
sir.
Yeah, we would like to request all of you guys to please fill in our feedback form on this link. So you can scan the QR code, or you can uh, check that link. So Ma'am Maricel has already posted the link. So please give us a feedback and let us know what you think of our webinar. And you can have also your suggestions on what you want to see, and we'll try to um, see if we can do a presentation for that. It depends on the demand of our audience on what they want to see in Tekla structures. So again, this is just the first of a series of webinars that we'll be doing for the year, and hopefully you could join us again in the next webinars. So if you have no more questions for us, we'll have our contacts available so that you could directly email us your questions and your inquiries. So with that, thank you, Jerome, for that presentation, and Ma'am Maricel for the setup. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this morning. Keep safe, and God bless you all.
Thank you all.